Agitach. This Melev Malka, after such a Shabbos, Melev Malka is called Ms. Melev the Malka. We escort the king, the queen. Every Shabbos we have 3 Siddas, and Chazal says the 3 Siddas are against Avram Yitzchak Yaakov. Matzah Shabbos is the David Malka Mashiach. It's all about a Ge'ilah. It's all about redemption. Shabbos is the 7th day of the week, is completing a week. Sunday we start anew. The contrast from going to Kodesh to Chol, from Shabbos to weekdays, needs something in between that has both elements to it. But Hasidim especially, Melev Malka was a very important Siddur, very makbid to wash, get together, say stories, Hasidish Masalach. Because one of the biggest avoiders, one of the hardest things actually to do, is when we get inspired to know how to take it along. Every Shabbos, every Yid connects to their soul, connects to their neshama, connects to the Shabbos Kodesh. And we want to be able to take it along for the week, the new inspiration. Rebbe Kalina, the Heilige Rebbe Kalina said, if Sunday morning your davening is not the same, is not more than your Friday morning, your Shabbos didn't do enough, you didn't know how to take along, nach mitnehmen the Shabbos. A Shabbos like this, with so much inspiration, so much thoughts and feelings going through each and every one of us. I must say, I was so inspired for bringing with Oilam, speaking with people that are going through so much, yet are able to come here. It takes a lot of courage to come to such a place. For the many, the more. Usually to come and to show, ich darf help, I need inspiration. Nah, I can do it on my own. So whoever is here is very brave and to say, no, I need chizuk. And I want to do it together, ki'ish echad. And this is something that we need to know how to compact it, to put into capsules, all the Gitteverte that we heard, all the ideas, and to make it into bumper stickers, if I may say, and to bring it home, and you know what, and say, lass mich mitnehmen, de alle Gitte Sachen. I want to share with you a story, Matzah Shabbos, that I think that it's going to package and wrap the whole Shabbos together. And hopefully this is going to be something you could take along and put in your pocket, and it should help you in the weeks to come to be able to face your challenges and do it with a chayshik and with a simcha. As I was sitting before, a Yigman is sitting near me, he says, ich will nicht daheim gehen. I want to stay here. He feels like he's like a coon on an island, under the Welt. He says, I got so fueled up, I'm afraid I'm going to come home, it's all going to be leaked out from the tank very fast. So let's start with this amazing Maaseh. There was the Heilige Chayzer for Lublin. We all know the Heilige Lubliner. He was called a Chayzer because he had the ability to look at a Yid, at his forehead, and he was able to know everything about him and his neshama and everything he did. And he knew what was going on in the world. Alle Maasehs saved the Heilige Chayzer. So he had a chuset, a Yid in a shtetl over there that was very, very poor. We're on the footsteps of Pesach. It's a shtickle Pesach story, but we can take it along. And he went to the Rebbe and he says, Rebbe, Chanish kein Geld zu machen Pesach. I don't have any money to make Pesach. I don't have money to buy matzahs. The children don't have, to buy the shoes for all the kids. Can I not have cost down to kaufen Sheikh? And Kleider, and food, and everything, and even money for the Dalet Koises. I'm very worried. My wife is worried. The kids are anxious, and I don't know what to do about it. So the Rebbe tells him, I see that you are going to have a lot of money still before Pesach. You're going to have an abundance of money, and it's not going to be an issue. A week passes by, and nothing happens. It's already a few days before Pesach. And he goes to the Rebbe again, and he says, Rebbe, I don't have. We need to buy the stuff. The Rebbe reassures him, and he says, don't worry, you'll see, you're going to have money for Pesach. 3 or 4 hours before Pesach, someone knocks on the door, and he says, are you so-and-so? He says, yes. I'm coming down from Hungary. I'm a shliach from Beston. You had a great aunt. Everybody's dream. A great aunt that was very rich, and she didn't have any kids. And you are the heir. He was the Yoish. And you are getting his a sack full of diamonds and silver, and gold, and other gete Sachen, maybe titanium. Shloime, the Yid leaves. He got a simcha mula. He runs into his wife and he says, what just happened? We became rich. What's the story? They didn't have time to rejoice. They run out to the street and they run to buy all kinds of steaks and other Sachen and van and matzahs. A ganze simcha is geworden. It's unbelievable what they could put together in just a few hours. It came Yom Tov night, the first Seder. They're sitting there with such a mamish kiyad malchus. Man sitzt dort in Ungarland. It's unbelievable. They had mamish, the golden kailim and everything, whatever they needed was the most beautiful cider. They were singing the whole cider. And you can imagine the father had so much patience for the kids. And they were all sitting nicely and everybody was behaving. It was mamish, ma'ayna l'maber. And they finished mamish like Yigiyaz Magri Kriya Shema Shachris in the morning. They went to sleep, went to daven. And of course, what happened the next day? Yom Tov afternoon, he takes a nap with his wife. They're exhausted. The first time in their life they had so much food. And they were up the whole night. They went to sleep. They wake up. It was 11 o'clock, an hour before Chatzos at night. And the Yid starts thinking, Heilige Bashefer, I want to make a cider just like yesterday. I want to make a cider zusammen wie sedaf zu sein. And he rushes, he quickly down Mariv and maybe Svida. And he told his wife to start preparing everything and they started making ready for the cider. Comes to starting the Agud and he says, Allah ma'an with the ganze kavuna, every single word, and he says, but quickly, and he says the kids say the Manishtanu the kids were like halfway asleep and nagging and it was mamish to schlep the cider, but he was trying and he was focusing, we have to give it all you've got, you have to, and he made it mamish a minute before Chatzas. But afikoymen, he eats afikoymen, and they finish the cider, they go to sleep. The next morning, he comes to Shil. After davening, the Chayz for the Blin tells his Gabbai, call up front, this and this Yid, call him up. The Yid's thinking to himself, what does the Rebbe want from me? And he comes, and the Rebbe tells him, can you do me a favor? He said, sure. Can you tell the people that are standing around us now, can you tell them how your cider went? Your cider made a rash in Himmel like never before. There's something so special about your cider. I want you to share with everybody. They should know how a cider is supposed to look like. Of course, he starts telling everybody. You all know that I was a pauper, a man, univa evian. And finally, mamish a moifus from the Rebbe and a moifus from the Himmel, that it came and the Chayzer for Bli stops him and he says, no. Tell them about your second cider. And he says, Rebbe, sure, it was an embarrassment. No, zug the cider, tell them how the second cider went. They didn't have a choice, the Rebbe heißt auf dem Folgen. And he tells them, I'm embarrassed to say, I slept in, we woke up late, and we're mamish, bishes. And the Rebbe says, go on. And he says, I put together all my thoughts and all my kavunas, and I started saying, that this is a mitzvah's esef and a toilet to be mekayim. It doesn't matter, the kids are crying and schlepping and the food wasn't prepared regular, everything was cold, it was mamish, but he was doing the whole thing whatever he could. Let me ask you a question. Which side do you think made a bigger Rash Shemayim? The first side or the second side? Naturally, we would think that the first side he did at Mamish was singing and the kids were behaving and alles is game moide, because Mamish like the coloring books, like it's the way it's supposed to be, the father with the card with everything. And the second side it took an hour, and the Rebbe taught the Chusid and the people around him that sometimes the second side made a much bigger Rosh Hashanah than the first one. Naturally, the way we grow up, we are taught the way things are supposed to be. You're supposed to feel this, you're supposed to feel that, you're supposed to do this, this is before that, you have to sit this way, you have to tell your kids to sit shine by the Seder, and they have to sing this song and that song, and you have to feel, you have to have the whole emotions. But sometimes, when it comes to Avodas Hashem, Rachmuna Liba Boy, there's something deeper sometimes that it's expected from us from Shemayim that we have to do, which is called devotion. By the first side, he gave it all he's got in the sense that he was enjoying, so to speak, the idea that he's having decided and he's doing the right thing. He has a perfect side that if any neighbor would walk in, they would see, this it feels good. If someone would walk into the second side, what would he see? A verschleppte side, nothing prepared, it's like halfway. But the devotion, the Übergegebenkeit, die Getreitschaft, the Nutschaft was der Hieder gehad für die Eibischte. To do it the right way, to think and to connect to Hashem, and to say, this is what the Eibischte will jetzt für mich, this is my avoida now, and I'm going to give it all I've got, and I'm going to do it with the ganze devotion. This is something. I think the Shabbos, the event is called Kesher. Kesher is about relationships. How to build a relationship. There are two different ways of connecting. You could connect to someone technically. And sometimes husband could say, I'm doing everything. I bring the groceries. She tells me to bring the groceries. I bring it first. I'll do this. Why? And she feels we're not connected. There's something missing. She wants something more. She doesn't just want a technical relationship. She wants to see some devotion, she wants it to be in tune. She wants etwas mehr, etwas tiefer. It's not just a technical relationship. The Baal Shem Tov, all the other tzaddikim, but we are more connected. The stories that we know is more from the Baal Shem HaKudosh, was very busy, so to speak, to train his Talmidim that Rachmuna Liba Boya, Hashem wants your devotion and your heart to do something. It's not about the technicality so much. Of course, we have to keep the Torah. I have so many people telling me, I can't put on, I said, just put on your tefillin 5 minutes, but really you daven the whole day, don't we? We daven the whole day. We drive the car, it's like, I should catch the light, I should get a bar park, you need a parking spot, a parking spot. It's davening, it's tefillah, you thank Hashem, you have a phone call, you're doing business. A whole day we're davening. That's in a certain sense much deeper davening than the technical putting on the tefillin. You have to put on the tefillin, but you're doing so much more by connecting with your heart and giving your devotion. And this is something we all know. The Master, the Baal Shem HaKudosh, sent one of his Talmidim to go to a foreign place, and he told him, hide behind this and this stone, I want you to be there for a few hours and then come back to me. The Chussid went, and he sees there's a shepherd, a pastach, with his sheep, and they're drinking over there by the river. And while the shefelich are drinking, the pastach, he jumps over the water back and forth, and he says, Tomei, 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 Tomei. And the Chussid thinks to himself, like, Ali B'Shem is a real Am Haaretz. He knows only one word in Gusha Kodesh, and he wanted to daven to Hashem, and he said, Tomei, Tomei. And the Chussid felt like, Tomei, at least he should say Tahor. So he screams, says, Tahor. There's always the Gitti Eden that. And he got so confused. Tomei, Tahor, it wasn't the same. He came back, the Baal Shem Tov told him, you should know that in Shemayim you have a problem. They're upset at you. His Tomei was so important to Hashem. It made such a koyach, such a tefillah in Shemayim. It's beyond words. It was something in him. He was doing it naturally. He was giving it all he's got. In a relationship, with others, in the relation with our children, the relation with the Shemaim, it always has to be with devotion, with the extreme, with the Wahrheit. There's a Mama Chazal that we all are very familiar with, that right before the Eibishter gave us the Torah, Hashem wanted to give another chance for the nations. So any guy that asks you, you're the chosen nation, he said, listen, we give you guys a chance. And the Malach came down, we know the story, there's a song in it from Yom Tov Ehrlich, and he goes to one king from the one nation, another nation, he says, do you want to take the Torah? And what was their answer? And they said, Ma kesiv bai. What does it say? What does it say inside? And of course he told the nation that was struggling with Genaiva, he told them like Signov and everybody, and they all said, no, it's okay, it's not for us. He came to the Eden, and what did we say? We didn't say Ma kesiv bai. What does it say? We said, Na'aseh v'nishma. First we're going to do, and then we'll hear already Ma kesiv bai. It's not important. So the Sfurim say, what's the significance, what's so amazing about Klal Yisrael? That we realized the Torah is about a relationship. It's not about the rules that say in the Torah. We are not doing the Torah mitzvahs because it's a technical thing. Hashem gave us the Torah mitzvahs only that we should have a way to connect to Him. Otherwise, how do you connect to the infinite God? The only way we could connect is through Him giving us Torah mitzvahs, and then we fulfill it. But really, fulfilling the mitzvah technically, yes, there are some people that have 613 problems they need to solve. And some people have 613 privileges. They realize what the Torah mitzvahs are all about. So the relationship between the Eibishter and Klal Yisrael is the heart. Yes, you cannot say what Israeli drivers in the taxis, they say, Ani dati balev. Sometimes people go through that stage, yes, it's perfect. But not to stay there forever. You tell them, Ani dati balev. You have to also do something. You have to have the first-sided and the second-sided. And when we build a kesher, and ultimately our kesher, what we're here for, to build a kesher with our kids, they want to see us devoted. And I can tell you, I've witnessed it firsthand, and my wife told me what was going on this side, and I know what happened this side throughout Shabbos. All of you are the most devoted parents in the world. Devotion means, is there a stronger word for devotion? I wish I would have a thesaurus. But devotion, Übergegebenkeit, when your neighbors, your in-laws, your local roof, your mechanech, everybody around you is telling you, Avi weiß nicht, was redt. And you say, no, I'm going to do what the right thing is. Ich bin devoted, übergeben von mein Kind. I don't just pull the plug. I'm going to give it noch einmal mit Bishes, mit Stoissen, mit Haken, mit Sätzen, whatever it takes. And this is something that I need to applaud you. And you, fathers and mothers, are the beacon of light for the whole Klal Yisrael. I've been to many, many Shabbatons. Some I was called to speak, and the other ones I was part of. In this very hotel, I was here with my wife, we were here 5 years ago, with a different organization, it's called Ma'oides. You shouldn't know if you don't know what it is. Ma'oides is for grieving parents, parents that lost children. I was zeicha to be one of the parents over there. And I was looking around, I was trying to, in my mind, I was trying to compare, like, interesting, this Shabbaton and that one. There is something very special by the parents going through this particular assignment, this particular test, this particular challenge. There is something here, I see hope in everybody's face. There is hope. And the leader of this organization, his name matches so well what he is and what he's doing and what he's instilling in all of us. His name is Avi. He's an Av. He's a father. He is so devoted to you. So you become so devoted to your child or children. He's teaching us by example. And you know what? By being devoted to your child, everything goes in slowly but surely. Sometimes it takes much longer than we want. But ultimately, everything comes. Everything seeps in slowly but surely. Our children are going to be so devoted. And devoted means to their Creator and to their people and to their family back and to everybody else. There is something unique about this Shabbaton. I was listening to the speeches from Friday night, the Veretsky Rosh Hashiva, and then before davening we heard it of Leifert. Azana Shaina Zachen, Shabbos morning, all the speeches one by one. And it was all about how to build a kesher with someone that's totally opposite than you and part of you. Somebody that's so challenging to you. How do you build a relationship with someone that's so against your beliefs? You had dreams and hopes for this child. We all created a ganze machshuva. And now this child is standing up and challenging us. Do you love me? Even if, I'm not going to itemize it, the worst things to do in your house, to bring it in, whatever it is, to make you feel, do you love me? They test us. There's a Masse with the Heilige Baditsche Beruf. Kol Nidre, everybody is waiting for the Heilige Rebbe to come out. The Baditsche Beruf kippt nicht raus, man wart. In the olden days when a tzaddik didn't come out or action like that, we knew there's something more. And finally the Rebbe comes out and he runs to the Kodesh and he opens up the Bereiches and he starts crying and loud and he says, Heilige Bashefer, I am talking on behalf of the whole Kehillah. Yes, we all sinned, we did Avidas, we spoke Lashon Hara, we did this, we did that. And we're asking you for forgiveness. But Hashem, who made the Almonas? Who made the Yisayimim? And who made the kids go off the derech? You wanted it to be so. You be us, Michael, and we'll be you, Michael. We'll forgive you, and you forgive us. He closed the pareiches, they started davening. After davening, you can imagine there was a huge lineup, and everybody wanted to ask, Rebbe, what exactly is happening here? The Baditsche Beruf says, relationships is the one thing between us and people, us and objects and things, chafaitzim, and us Hashem. We need to have a relationship with Hashem just as we need to have a relationship between us. If you cannot be open and tell your spouse that you're upset about something, is that closeness? I'm not saying you should do that a week after your chasana if it's something. But once you get close to somebody, you're able to say, you know what? I want to have a meeting with you. Let's talk tomorrow night. I want to address something that bothers me. Of course, you sandwich it in. You know how to do it. You get... And then you say, listen, it bothers me that you do so and so. This means closeness. This is a relationship. So the Baditsche Beruf said, this is the relationship we need to have with Hashem. We need to be able to tell Hashem, Hashem, I don't know why did you do this to us. It's so painful to go through what we're going through now. It has this Nisayan, this challenge, has everything in it. It has Bisha. It challenges our beliefs, our thoughts. It challenges the other kids in the house, the families, the ganze Sache. In every way, shape, or form, we are challenged to work it out. It's so painful. And if you want to be able to have the koyach to continue being devoted to your kids, you need to be able to heal yourself. First of all, by coming to the Shabbos, rejuvenated. And besides, having a relationship, an open relationship with Hashem. And say, Ehrlich Bashefer, I don't know why you're doing this. It's so hard for me. Please help me. Give me the koyach and the cycle to do, and the patience to do what it needs to go through this challenge. Every time you come home and you see another thing that bothers you. Now, this one, child came up with a tattoo, whatever, this, so many things coming up. You have to say to yourself, I am going to continue to be a shliach from the Heilige Bashefer to take care of this neshama. Every neshama, every child has a journey, and it has nothing to do with your chinuch. Just as if you have a child that grows up to be the Baal Shem Tov, you don't take credit, you don't take blame for anything your child does. We believe in Bechira. We believe in choice. And ultimately, this is the Tachlis Abriya. Any way, shape, or form, which direction you want to go. You want to go the Ramchal's Mahalach, a different Mahalach, you want to see Tachlis Abriya, why Hashem created the world. Ultimately, we have choice. And every person has to go through whatever they need to go through. We have a choice how we want to deal with this Messiah. We have a choice to say, this is Hashem's kid, and I'm choosing to be devoted and give it all the koiches I can. And if you do it that way, you become a shliach from the Eibishter. And when you're a shliach from Hashem, there's a halacha, shlicha shel adam k'moisei. If you're a shliach for someone else, the shliach, the messenger, has the same power, halachic power, like yourself. And I am a shliach for the Eibishter to take care of this neshama, or this kid. I am becoming an extended hand of the Eibishter alliance. And don't worry, Hashem knows how to do it. We just have to remember that we are working for the Eibishter. And each and every one of these kids are going to, Mitzvah Hashem, continue their journey and come to a place where there's going to be a nachas for them and for Klal Yisrael. But I want to say one more thing before we're going to call up Avi. The whole world today has full of inspiration. It all started 30, 40 years ago when we started Eish HaTorah in Eretz Yisrael, Eish Arachim. The greatest speakers in the last 20 years and writers are Baalei Tshuva themselves. These are people that have original inspiration, their own inspiration. They're not Yidden robots. These are people that chose to be Yidden. Where exactly do they come from? Their Zaydas and Babas were für Ehrlich Yidden. Just 100 years ago, there was the big movement, Askula, the Enlightenment movement. Millions, I don't know the numbers, hundreds of thousands for sure, of Yiddish Kinderlich, with tatas and mamas like you. There was a movement, there was like a vacuum, giving out literature in schools, a chayder, and making chayzik from Yiddishkeit and getting the kids to leave their Yiddishkeit behind. Our Zaydas and Bobas were crying and davening to Hashem. You think those tefillas went le'ibit? A lot of their Einiglich are the greatest inspiring people today. And all the people that are not Baalei Tshuva that are great speakers, they were inspired by these Baalei Tshuva. One hand washes the other. All of us are becoming more perfected. We all are challenged to look into ourselves and say, what could I do different? Am I running a robotic Shabbos table? Because now you have to do this, now you have to do that. Or you're putting in a Shabbos table custom made to your kids and trying to bring them to enjoy the Shabbos and to connect to Hashem and to enjoy to the Zmiris. In my house, personally, I have every Friday night, I have the Pesach Seder. This is going on for probably 8-10 years. My kids, any questions they have, Friday night they can ask me. Whatever it is. Why this, why that, and we make a discussion. I try to include the younger kids, that they should have their inspiration. I give them time to ask questions of Verstehen Sachen. My little daughter asked me, Tati, we have a neighbor across the street, a Litvish neighbor, and he sits and learns, he's a Magachir. Are you cheshivet than him because you wear a shtreimel and he has a band-out with a necktie? I love that question. A little kid, innocent. We open the conversation, we're talking about Levish, different cultures, where they come from, we come from. It's not about this piece of fur over here. You come up with Shemaim, they don't ask you these questions. It's important, but fine. I told them, Rabbi Kaufman across the street is 1,000 times chesed in my eyes. He sits and learns al tzaddik, tzedukah, whatever it is. Ehrlich. The other kid asks different questions, sometimes deeper, the older kids. Not all of us are able to answer all the questions. You tell them, there's always someone you could ask. But we have to open dialogue. Involve your kids in the Shabbos table, if you can. They should start the Shabbos, the songs for the Zmiras. We have to customize. We are fighting a world out there that's so colorful, seemingly. So exciting, seemingly. We have the excitement, we have the ideology, we have everything in Yiddishkeit. We just have to give them something that we're devoted, like the second sided. It cannot be the perfect sided for the enemy. It has to be the perfect sided for us. We have to give them something exciting and to make it custom to each child. Yaakov Avini, his last brachas that he gave, it's called the Birchas Yaakov, I call it the mission statements. He gave every child a different mission, according to their nature. You go to work, you go learn, Zvilin, everybody gave a different mission. Each and every one, I always say, I have the Shiva Saminim. Every child, this is a pomegranate, jeder is anders. The Chacham is that it should be a custom design chinuch for each kid. And if one of our kids are going through a situation, a matzav, a zman, called it ages and stages, where you need to have tolerance and show them devotion, even if they don't do anything that you believe in, and you give them the liebshaft, then this is your avodas Hashem now, as we heard throughout Shabbos from all the speakers. We're going to continue soon, but I want to call up the Av, the father of this most important organization. I think this is the only organization in the world, in the Yiddish Welt, that teaches the parents how to have a kesher with our children that are challenging us. And ultimately, as someone pointed out to me throughout Shabbos, he said, I became so much closer to my wife throughout this challenge. It taught me what a real relationship is. To have a relationship with someone that's opposite than you, someone that believes. In college, a guy goes to college, let's say, and he finds a girl over there. And what do they do the whole time? They keep on comparing our similarities. Oh, great. Oh, she's amazing. I love chocolate. She loves chocolate. Imagine we love vanilla. Forget about it. I love action movies. She also likes action. Whatever. Keep on comparing. They get married, and suddenly they find out they find themselves in a relationship where they're so opposite. And yet we know this thing that opposites attract. Opposites attract. It's a total faket. A relationship is going through the challenge of understanding and being open and being devoted to someone that's different than you and opposite than you and different beliefs. This is geschmack. I tell people, if you're a lemon and your wife is an orange, your children are going to be grapefruits. It's great. Grapefruit has the vitamins of both. It says hot alles. It's bigger, it gets geschmack. It has the whole thing. And this is talking about what it's made for.